we are migrants, and when we moved to Australia, we saw that here it's cheaper to buy something new than to repair something. And that's what people are used to doing. Things are changing over the years, but when we actually came here, that's what we saw. And it was actually a culture shock, or because how can you just throw away something which is perfectly working, just needs a minor tweak, and it can be used for so many more years. So that's pretty much why we started the business. And we moved into our first shop in Thornbury in 2009. So we started refurbishing fridges and washing machines, dryers, basically white goods. If we were not doing it, obviously all of those would have gone into landfill. So even without realizing, we were working in the circular economy, at least refurbishing and reusing. At one point of time, we actually had the largest stock of refurbished items in Melbourne. So we were really well known for as a second-hand dealer. But slowly we had to introduce brand new products as well for the business to be viable. And that's why we've added brand new products, but still refurbishing is our core business. When we started really small. So we've always tried to keep our overheads low. We have always used second-hand computers, refurbished furniture, because we've always had a good experience with that. We've never needed to buy anything brand new. I think last year was the very first time I bought a brand new laptop. So, and same thing in business. We try to keep our overheads low by changing to LED lights. We try to reuse the packaging, as we saw in the video, as much as we can, and all of that. With our packaging and all of that, we also get lots of community, like small schools and people who are doing projects. They approach us and they take the packaging off our hands many times. So that's also, it's good to know that it's not going into just rubbish. As we saw, that's the water tank which Sunny has set up. It recycles our water. When we initially started, we realized we were getting really huge water bills. And we realized all the water which is used in testing washing machines is clean water. It's just going down the drain. So we set up the system where it's all used quite a few times, I think 20 odd times before it actually goes. And it has drastically reduced our water bills. So that's something which we always try to work on, reducing costs, because I've found out that reducing costs works hand in hand in reducing the carbon footprint. So even if you're just focused on reducing costs, that itself is a good start. In 2017, we set up Green Earth Recycle as a separate entity because that was more focused on refurbishing, reusing, and recycling. Specifically because fridges, we noticed, everybody must have seen fridges sitting on the nature strip, especially with the council rubbish collection happening nowadays. And those fridges are not degassed. And anytime somebody cuts the motor off, the gases escape into the environment. And that is what causes the ozone depletion and greenhouse gas effects. So we try to remove the fridges from the customer, degas them, and then recycle them. So in 2021 alone, we did about 2,500 fridges, which would have just gone into the atmosphere, but we degas them. That slide gives you an indication of what happens if fridges are not degassed properly. There are two types of, the older fridges have got the CFCs, which affect the ozone layer, and the newer ones don't have the CFCs, but they do have the other gases, which create even more greenhouse gas effect if released into the atmosphere. So yeah, we try to collect the fridges, degas them as much as we can, but we do have our restrictions with staffing and making the whole process viable. So we are looking at support from the government for it. I just put that slide in wherever I can because it's very impactful. It just shows that how much impact a fridge has. Like one fridge is almost the same as running 2 cars per year. So yeah, as long as it is in your house and running, it's all good. But once it's on the nature strip and the gas escapes, that's where that effect comes into action. So yeah, I just like to use that slide. We are Green Earth Recycle. We are accredited with the Victorian Energy Upgrades to degas the fridges and also supply high energy fridges to businesses and households. And we are working with Darwin Council to help businesses get energy efficient fridges. This is just a slide I have put in for anybody who's interested to measure their ecological footprint. So if you go onto the website, you can answer a few questions about your day-to-day lifestyle, and it will tell you how big is your footprint. And I promise you, you will be surprised with the answer. Because many times we feel that we are doing our bit, but when you see that, you will see that it's not enough. So I would definitely love to encourage everybody to give that a go at least once. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. And I always have to take this opportunity because I have a bit of a passion about the degassing. I read this book, which did change my life, as many books do. The single biggest solution that we have to address climate change, as presented in this book, is around our refrigerative gases. So that means your fridges, your freezers, your heat pump hot water systems, air conditioners, split systems. You know, there are a lot of and a growing number of appliances that use refrigerative gases. If we don't both shift them to being more natural refrigerative gases, and also ensure that all the ones that are in existence are degassed properly, that has a huge impact, as Gary said, on climate change and the impacts of climate change. And in this book, they put that as the top solution. So that was bigger than wind power on its own. It was bigger than solar power on its own. It was bigger than any other area. I was completely blown away when I realised that. And it's something we all have, and it's something most people probably have never thought about. So that's my plug. But I will invite questions now from the room. First, have we got anyone that's got a question? Yes. Tan, if you can go there. And it's interesting, while Tan takes the microphone there, we can often get really excited about new businesses that are making new products, but we forget that at the highest level, reuse sits at the top of the hierarchy in circular economy thinking and waste management. And it is the most important thing that we can do because it retains the value of that resource at its highest value for as long as possible. So, yes.
As a rough guide, like a percentage of your fridge to fill, or what percentage of your fridge to keep like void or empty, and what is it always like leaving the top of your fridge emptier and only 60% full ever, or is there some rough guide to? Oh yeah.
It's not. It is more about common sense. Like if you stuff your fridge and there is no air moving around, it will take up more energy. So it needs, like, you put things which are reasonable in there, but there should be space around it. Just the same as when you put the fridge in a space, there should be breathing space around it.
A very even spread of
exactly,
items.
Yes. And the same, the other way, if you buy a big fridge and just put 2 or 3 things in it, even then it will take much more energy. Because every time you open a fridge, the cold air will rush out, and the warm air will go in, and fridge has to unnecessarily cool just the air. So we always, whenever somebody walks into our shop, we don't ask them what do you want. I ask them how many people in the house, because I will suggest you what size you should buy. because most people don't have an idea. They want to just fill up the space which is in their kitchen. And usually it's not a good idea to do that unless you are a big family and you want to fill up the space. And another recommendation I give is if you have a big fridge, it's empty a lot, take containers, fill them with water and put them in. So they will stay cold and the fridge will not have to work extra hard to cool every time. So those are the kind of suggestions we give from our experience when somebody walks into the shop.
So the questions from the live stream audience. Excellent to see this is happening. Is there an era of products that were just built to last with a little refurbishment? Example, more than 10 years old? Is there a particular era when products were better than they are now?
Yes, definitely. The older fridges were made to last about 30, 35 years, 40 years as well. The newer fridges, especially manufactured within the last 15 years, they are just meant to last 10, maximum 15 years. So there's a big difference in the older fridges and the new ones. In saying that, any fridge which is older than 1996, that the government wants it off the market because that is the one which has got the CFCs and they can't afford the CFCs to go into the atmosphere anymore. So, but yeah, older fridges are definitely meant to last longer.
Thank you. Another question. This goes to the presentation you did earlier. Are you saying that once a fridge is turned off, the gas is escaping?
No. Once the motor is taken out of the fridge, the gas escapes because the gas pipes are connected to the motor. And any fridge which is sitting on a nature strip, the motor will definitely be removed by a scrap dealer.
You know, it happens. This is the reality that the fridges go out for collection. Collection doesn't happen straight away. Someone comes along, it's worth money in the scrap metal market. They cut that and they take it away. And in the process, you've got the equivalent of 6 months of a car on the road added. It's really, really impactful. Like, it's something we don't think about, but we really need to think about.
Some fridge sellers offer a removal option with a new sale. Is the wider industry doing recycling of these adequately, do you think?
When you buy something from the bigger retailer, so all the deliveries have been done by the drivers. So drivers, they don't take all the goods back to the retailers. Half of them, they take it to the home and they sell to the scrap metal people so they can make extra money with the deliveries. That's the biggest problem at the moment in Australia.
Can you regas an old fridge with the new gas? This is less environmentally friendly. So if a fridge comes to you and refurbish it, instead of using the gas that's in there, can you get rid of that? And is the newer gas more environmentally friendly?
Yes, it can be done, but at the same time, it's not been recommended by the Australian Refrigeration Council because once you degas a fridge, you need to clean up all the system. And sometimes what happens, the old gas doesn't go out fully, but when you try to regas the fridge with the new gases, then it might interact each other, and then maybe the fridge is not designed, the old fridge is not designed to work with the new gas. That's why initially they don't put the new gases, or maybe new gases are not available at that time. So it's a bit hard. At the same time, it's going to be it's not going to be cost effective. It's going to cost you arm and leg. So yeah, so it's not advisable.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Fanny and Gary. And